Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm your host Paul Jass, and thank you for joining us. We're downtown at Fairfield Federal with another edition of the show, and as we move into this springtime of the year and into the summer, there's, as we always mention, no lack of events to talk about. During the week, on every weekend, there's something going on from now until as far as we can look into the future, certainly till the end of summer with the end of the festival and look at the back to school times back in there, but there's something going on all the time. Second half of the show today, we'll talk about one of the fun concerts that'll be coming up here. We'll talk with Dan Kemp and the Bit of Luck. We'll have their wonderful Ham and Eggs concert coming up shortly. We'll talk about that. But the first segment of the show, we're going to talk about another kind of in that world of arts, and it's always fun to talk about the Lancaster Chorale. And we like to think of them as Central Ohio's premier all-professional choir. With me to talk about that is Ivan Smith, who is a board member for many years of the Lancaster Chorale. Ivan, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be with you, Paul.
The Lancaster Chorale, when we look at, and whether I used to have Bob Trocchia on, or whether Clarence McCoy was on with the chorus, or Dan Kemp with the Ham and Eggs group, the men's chorus, we always talk about, boy, there's no lack of ability for anybody in this community, or Mary Jo Stratton's one voice. If somebody wants to continue singing,
Absolutely.
Plenty of opportunities. How blessed we to live in a community like this.
It really is amazing, and we hear a lot of stuff about Lancaster now, and that book that came out, The Glass City. We got to start talking about our arts thing in Lancaster as much as we talk about the other good things that are going on. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. No matter what your level of expertise is, if you like to sing and you can sing, there's a group for you. There may be more than one group for you.
Well, and there may be, but one of them that I won't be auditioning for will be the Lancaster Chorale. This is a professional group. I mean, my golly, these are, when you look at their bios, you can tell these people know what they're doing in the world of music. We're wrapping up the 2016-17. It was the Westerman concert series. We still listed as that. Terry McGee and all that group got all that going out there with the Westerman Company back in the day. Things have changed a little bit, but they're still behind the chorale 100%. So coming up here, give us the dates, the time. The last one in the 16-17 season is coming up.
Okay. The concert, by the way, if romance is your thing,
okay,
this is your concert.
Okay.
And that concert is being performed here in Lancaster at St. Peter's Church on the 30th of April.
Right, Sunday afternoon.
A couple weeks from now, yeah.
Sunday afternoon. And we'll mention that again, but most people, I think you think of St. Mary's. It's good to note that this is over at St. Peter's.
Yep. It's Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock at St. Peter's.
Yeah.
And I think if you go to St. Mary's, there's not going to be anybody there, probably.
That may be an indication. Maybe Father Eilerman will put something on the door. Please go to St. Well, maybe not.
No,
we don't
he
know.
won't do that.
But it's the last one in the series, and romance is the theme?
Oh, yes, romance. But you got to be careful because the subtitle, the name of the concert is The Heart's Passion.
Yes.
However, the subtitle is Songs of Longing, Love, and Loss.
Ooh.
So there's a little bit of sadness in this concert, but a lot of good fun. The whole first half is a series of songs that has never been performed here in Lancaster.
Oh, really?
Yep, by Johannes Brahms. And I've been working on this word all week and
Give it
getting
to
ready
us.
for Segunterlieder.
And what does that mean, if anything?
Hungarian songs.
Okay,
Hungarian
very good.
songs.
Great job,
Gypsy
too.
songs.
Very
Gypsy
good.
Songs.
And that's the first half of the show?
That's the first half of the program, yeah.
Okay.
Gypsy songs.
Now let's get it out there first before we go on with the concert. Where can, and again, we're a week and a half away till we hit the 30th here, where can tickets be purchased? I know they're at the door, but there's another way to do it.
You can get them at the Chorale office, but you can also go online to www.lancasterchorale.com. and you have to use a credit card to buy them that way, but that can be done.
And that's an easy way to do it, and then it's a will call
You
at
got 'em, and it's
yeah,
will call.
very good. And they can be purchased the day of the concert too. So romance is in the air as we do this final concert for the 17 season here for the Lancaster Chorale. Lineup is a little bit of everything with romance.
Yes, I'd say that's pretty accurate. In the second half, we have also some more beautiful music with a variety of composers, including Ravel and Elgar.
Okay.
Elgar. And of course, we know Elgar. If anybody's ever graduated from anywhere, they know Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance. But that's
And you've
not-
heard that.
That's not the song. Yeah. You've heard it over and
Hundreds
over
of
again at
times, yes,
graduation.
you're right.
These are from the Bavarian Highlands, and a series of 3 lullabies from that work, and that's part of the second half. And there's other really nice music in the second half too, from several other composers.
Always, before I was able to have Ivan come on, we always had Bob Trokey on in many of the early years. And a few years ago, Bob retired, moved in. Stephen Caracciolo has moved into the to the driver's seat of the Lancaster Chorale and taken it just. It's amazing what he's done with the. You look at a concert like this, he's just a super guy.
He really is, and if you go to the first rehearsal for a concert,
Yeah.
the folks come into that rehearsal knowing the music, backward and forward. They're starting to polish it up during the first rehearsal.
And they only have very few rehearsals, right?
Yes, and they are all in a condensed period of time.
Yeah.
Because Stephen's residence is in Maryland, and so he comes here for that week and the week of the concert and does all the rehearsals,
Sure.
and then culminating in the concert.
As I indicated, Ivan is a board member, and the board, in always looking to expand and get involved, has taken on some couple of new folks, and they're getting involved now, I think, with the churches, local churches, and the local schools. Would that be a direction that the board is taking it?
Yes, absolutely. We realize that we've got to encourage younger people, and that's where we get into the student programs. We have special prices for choir members, for church choir members, but students are admitted at no charge. We realize that we really need to attract the kids and can't get the price much lower than no charge.
It's a real bargain. How much is it if you purchase a ticket? What's the cost of a regular ticket?
The regular price of an adult ticket is $25.
And it's an amazing afternoon of music and just enjoyment and sitting in a beautiful setting, either at St. Mary's or in this case, St. Peter's over there. And I wanted to mention the 2 new board members. You have 2 new board members on. Lita Cook, well-known person from First Pres, First Presbyterian Church, is handling the church liaison.
Right.
And Bill Whitman, a known educator here from the Lancaster City Schools, now down toward Logan and Hocking County, over in Newark for many years. He's handling the schools. So, again, continuing that expansion.
Yes, and really making a concerted effort to get these students involved.
And at least one concert each year, the Lancaster Fairfield County Youth Choir is involved. Andrew Brown directs them, and what an amazing young group. I know that's a real hot button with you. You love the youth choir, and they're kind of a younger version of the chorale. Some have actually come from that group into the chorale, but they have a concert coming up. Let's give them a nice plug.
Yeah, they have a concert coming up, and it's on the 14th of May. It's their spring concert on the 14th of May at First United Methodist Church at 4 in the afternoon. Those concerts that those kids put on are about an hour in length. There is no charge. They're fun concerts. And you mentioned Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown is their leader. It's fun to watch him work on a rehearsal because he sings the entire rehearsal with the kids in falsetto. And Andrew is also a member of the Lancaster Chorale. And he doesn't sing falsetto with the Lancaster Chorale.
And let's go back to it, and we'll hit that again. We'll plug it all again as we get to the end here. We've got a couple minutes to go. But I hope the people in Lancaster and Fairfield County appreciate what they have here in a choir like the Lancaster Chorale, as we say, the premier choral group around
Right.
here. Not many communities this size for this many years has made a go of it at the level that they perform.
Absolutely. But once again, the range is also amazing as well. Yeah, but I think, Paul, your point is very well taken. It's not easy to get into the Lancaster Chorale.
Audition
And
only, of course.
The people that are in there are just superb
Yep.
musicians.
And I don't know, some are 25, 30, the amount there. And when you look at their bios, if you have a program, you look at the bios, they're all trained musicians. All of them aren't involved in music. Most are, but all of them have music backgrounds where music is a passion for
Yeah.
them. And Stephen looks for that. He draws them in. And then for the third concert of this 16-17 season, just a wonderful group of people.
Yeah, and Stephen himself has an amazing background.
We've heard him sing a couple of times.
We have once because it was necessary.
Just picks it up and
he
moves
just,
on.
Just sang the solo as though it was planned that way.
So give us the dates and the location again.
Okay, St. Peter's, 4 o'clock p.m. on the 30th of April at 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
Sunday, April 30th.
And tickets can be purchased either at the door, a preferable way you can do it from the confines of your own laptop or a computer in your house. You go to LancasterChorale.com,
Yep.
and there's a way to do it on there. Have your credit card and access it like that. An easy way to do it is a will call window up there. And then May 14th, the youth choir
May
having
14th.
even better, a free concert
No charge.
at First Church down there. Again, a great group of young people under the direction of Andrew Brown. Stephen Caratrolo with the Lancaster Chorale. Romance is in the air. You and your wife Jessie have a wonderful afternoon up there on that. We'll be looking forward to seeing you up there for that.
Well, looking forward to it as well, Paul.
Very good.
Looking
So
forward to it as well.
Ivan Smith is a board member of the Lancaster Chorale and has talked to us today about that upcoming concert in a week and a half away. Again, you could Google Lancaster Chorale, LancasterChorale.com. All that is on there. How you can purchase tickets, how you can get involved. Last one for the year until the fall, so
Yep.
good way to move
Last
into
one
the
till
summer.
October.
Romance in the air.
Romance, yes.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ivan. Appreciate your being with us.
Pleasure. Happy
We'll
to
be
be
back
with you, Paul.
in just a moment. Welcome back to Fairfield today. Thanks, Ivan Smith, talking by with the Lancaster Chorale. We'll talk about another big event coming up with the Lancaster Men's Chorus in just a moment. But first, let's mention the good folks here at Fairfield Federal. And again, as we move into the springtime of the year, if your thoughts are doing something around your home, if you're going to stay in your home, maybe it's putting a new deck out back, maybe it's remodeling inside, adding a room, lots of possibilities in springtime that people like to do. Or maybe even you're thinking about, well, maybe it's time to look at another home, maybe a bigger or a downsizing move, whatever the need would be for you. A good place to start in looking at some of the financial options that you have available to you would be fairfieldfederal.com. They have a great website, lots of links on there that some of your questions probably could be answered right on the website. But if not, they have phone numbers of the locations here, the one on the west side, the one up in Pickerington, and they have the names of the folks that you can call with. So if you have a personal banking need, a business banking need, or interested in what they can do on internet banking, which are very comprehensive, smartphones, any device you have, you can find out all of your money issues right there. If you have already money in the bank, you can check anything out online. So there are lots of options right there. But again, a good place to start is fairfieldfederal.com. Lots of answers right there on the website. So we talked about the Lancaster Chorale a couple of minutes ago with Ivan Smith, and we'll talk about one of the more fun, lighthearted times. Dan Kemp with us with the Lancaster Men's Chorus here, and golly, it's an exciting time of the year for you. Days of Blunder, it's all downhill from here. Who wouldn't want to attend that?
If you got nothing better to do, or if you got something better to do, come out anyway.
It's a fun weekend, May 10th through the 13th, coming up here in a few weeks. But if you want to spend a fun afternoon, or in most cases an evening, hearing men sing and have a great time, and actually help the community by raising money for scholarships that this group is so well known for giving, and we'll talk about that a little later. This is your weekend, May 10th through the 13th.
Yes, sir.
Pretty exciting time. Are you
Yeah,
ready?
we're-
Well, you got 3 weeks yet. Have you started yet?
We started probably about mid-February. We started working on the script for the show.
Okay.
And been having some practices with that. We started at the beginning of the year, first weekend after the first of the year in January, working on the music. And then the script we start February, March. It's coming along really good. Guys are putting in a lot of work. A little easier show this year, not a lot of speaking parts, which works out where some of the guys, in their case, but coming along nicely.
Becky Clark, who is such an integral part of your show, and I would say that without Becky, it'd be struggle to keep this thing afloat, at least the dancing part of it. But her husband Dick and I were talking the other day, and I asked him how it was going, and he had a very complimentary moment. He said, "I think it's going pretty good," because she came home that first night. He says, "I think these guys know what they're doing. They're kind of learning this real quick this year." So she was very encouraged early on by the ability of your group to dance.
I'm so glad that she has shared that with him. She was sick there for a while, so maybe
Yes.
it's the medication talking.
Well, I mean, it could be, and watching these two left-footed people out there
Yes.
dance around. I mean, she's God bless her. She
Yes.
does the Lord's work out there.
Yes, she does.
So the way this works is you come up with the music part of it first. You work early on the music.
Yes. That takes a little more time, so we normally start the first Monday after the first of the year. We come back and have our regular practice, start going over songs. What I've tried to do over the last couple of years since I've taken over is trying to do some songs that we haven't sang in many years or haven't sang at all, or some of the guys that are in the group. I've been with the group for 19 years now, and there's some songs that we haven't sang since I've been there, and we have such a array of music. I think we counted it 400 or 500 songs that we have. So
Really?
pulling out some old ones, and we haven't really had a theme per se for the concert. But last year I wanted to do something a little different, do songs that have been both on Broadway and in a live film. So we did that this year because we normally the format is a couple different selections from different genres, and this year want to do all religious music. So we'll do that, and then we'll go back to that regular format because we have so many religious songs that are great that we haven't sang, like I said before. So just pulling out some other ones and some old standards that we sang, and the guys like that. And I think our group that comes out to watch it will be pleased with that. Kind of like an old Gaither homecoming type show.
Dan Kemp is our guest today on the show. He's the director, the conductor for the second part of the show. He handles that. And would you say 19 years for you?
Yes.
19 years. Now, I doubt if you're one of the younger guys anymore, but there are some people that have some serious vintage years with the Lancaster Men's Chorus.
I would say that age-wise, I'm at the lower end. There's a couple guys that are younger than me, but not many. But our average age is probably 70, give or take, and most of those guys have more years in the chorus than I've been alive. So
I see a little stools line up every now and then when they sit down up there. But I think that speaks to what this group not only gives to the community, but gives to you folks that do that. There are people that once they're in it, they don't want to get out. They, under all circumstances, want to sing.
yes, and that's what it's a little different for the first half. We do have guys that have over the last couple of years have kind of dropped back and haven't done as much.
Sure.
Just a little more physically for them, or trying to memorize lines as well as the music, and they really care about the music. So they'll show up for the second half of the show and just leave the first half to some of the younger guys or guys that screw up anyway, no matter what. So,
And that's kind of the passing of the torch.
Yes.
At some point, maybe when you get in a group, you are the young guy. You're the guy that wears the grass skirt, that wears the coconuts and does all this stuff. But eventually, maybe your time comes to where you're on the bar stool there, sitting singing in the group. That's kind of maybe how
yes,
it works.
it definitely is nicer to have those choices that you're making instead of being made for you. My wife always teases me that I do not make a very good-looking woman, and I said, well, that's good because God made me a man. So it definitely makes it a little easier. And there's a couple guys. There's one guy that's been in the group. We found out DJ Hoover has been in the group for almost nearly 30 years, give or take, something like that, and has never been dressed as a woman.
Is that right?
And so this year we made dreams come true for him.
So that glass ceiling has been shattered.
So
I'd like to DJ. We'll see how that works
Yes.
with him on there. We'll see how he handles that. It's a Lancaster Men's Chorus. It's called Days of Blunder. It's all downhill from here, out at the Wagner Theater, and again, marvelous place to do any of that over the years. And now it's even, and we've had Victor on. We've talked about that with the things they've got going on. It's been remodeled. The sound system. It's much more, I think, from a standpoint of you're watching the show, it just adds to everything now.
Yes, and they have students. What has helped us, I mean, we've had professionals come in, not that the students are professionals, but they're learning to do these things in school, so they're now helping us, and what that does is lower our cost of what we're paying to use the facility, and it gives us more money for our scholarship program that we do. And the kids or students did great last year with that, and we're looking forward to working with them again, doing our lighting and sound.
First things first, let's talk about how tickets are available. We've got 2 or 3 weeks yet, May 10th through the 13th. You've got a while yet, but and you can get tickets at the door if there are any available.
Yes.
Which sometimes I know it's a pretty good run up there to get them. But how can tickets be purchased?
They can visit any of the members of the group, check us out on our Facebook page, Lancaster Men's Chorus, or they can stop at Maureen Cefalou's State Farm Insurance down on Broad Street. And I'm sorry I don't have the address, but her phone number is 654-0332. I had that memorized and forgot about it. Or they can call up First United Methodist Church where I work, 653-3330, and I'll have tickets available.
You do have that one memorized.
Yes, I do.
It's always such a fun concert, and we talk about how tickets can be purchased. But I think it's important to know that even while you're enjoying it, you're watching this, you're having fun, that the money that's being raised by the Lancaster Men's Chorus has a purpose. You do it for a reason, and you've done it for a lot of years. Tell us how some of this money is used.
I would say that at least 75% of our money we try to put aside for our scholarship program. We have started doing advertising in a program for the school or for the show, and 100% of those proceeds go to the scholarships. We are now just over $110,000 in scholarships, I believe. We gave out $7,000 last year. The thing that we found that is as we're trying to give back to the community, we've kind of left ourselves short with updating. So this year we have worked on trying to incorporate our program to be a 503c, and then we can also seek funds from the Lancaster Foundation, or excuse me, the Fairfield Foundation, to help with music or startup costs for the show or different activities.
And you have to buy music. You need music. That's a part of what you do. And sheet music, as many members as you have, is not an inexpensive thing.
It is not.
Can be a couple of bucks per copy.
Yes, minimum almost anymore. We're looking at $1.50 to $2 at least for some copies, and depending on what the genre is, there's a couple songs we're really looking at, and we have to buy a license to buy the music now, and that's a couple $100 just for that. So we're trying to save up for the 50th anniversary here in a couple years to do some really special music. But it does get costly, and when you're trying to buy at least 40 copies so we have enough for the guys that we have now, but with the potential of growing the group again back up to 40, 50 members, it can take quite a bit of money.
And before anybody can suggest that, no, you can't make copies of the music.
Correct.
You buy them, and then you use them, and you keep them, and that's how it goes. Or there would be no Lancaster Men's Chorus if you make copies of it. That's the ASCAP and BMI licenses, they frown on that very much. Tell us about, you've been in it for 19 years. A lot of people have been in it for longer than that. This is an auditioned group. When does all that begin?
We begin the first Monday after Labor Day each September. We follow the school year, and we don't necessarily do auditions, but if someone comes in and they really can't sing, we might ask them if they want to do something behind the scenes, because as you come in, some of the guys can't sing, but we're a nice Christian group, so we try to not push them away. But any guys that want to come in, we practice at St. Peter's Lutheran Church down on Broad Street from 8 to 10 on Monday evenings, and that goes from the first Monday after Labor Day through the first middle part of December when we have our Christmas concert, take off a couple of weeks for Christmas, and then come back the first Monday after the first of the year and begin to the show in May. And then in March, we normally start doing Tuesday night practices, adding in the script for the second.
I had Ivan Smith on in the segment before this talking about the chorale, and I mentioned that with him, and I'll mention it with you too, and I like to talk about that. There was a time that if you were in high school, maybe you sang in for Newton Beale out at the Lancaster High School. He was a director when I was in. And you maybe went to college, and maybe that might be it for you, unless you sing in a church choir. And now there's the Lancaster Chorale, the Lancaster Community Chorus, One Voice, Lancaster Men's Chorus. There's a youth choir now that Andrew Brown heads up. In a community like this, just tons of opportunity to people that want to continue locally. Maybe you're back and in your job now and you're back, you could still get involved.
Yes, and that's where we've really started to hit in the last few years as we've seen members just either stop singing or have passed away. trying to replace them. And we've looked at high school students, but then we get into, they might spend a year or two with us, and then they either move away to a larger college, or they haven't found themselves. So what we've really been trying to work on the last few years is get some guys that are in their mid-20s, upper 20s, that have a family, have a job started here in town, makes it a little easier. We do pick up a couple guys that come from Millersport. We at one point had somebody from Pickerington. So I mean, we have some guys that travel, but a good part of the group is right here in Lancaster. But we'll take any guy that would like to be a part of the show.
Sure. It's Days of Blunder. It's all downhill from here out at the UL Wagner Theater, May 10th through the 13th. Tickets are available again
at Maureen Cefalou's office on Broad Street. Their number is 740-654-0332. You can get it from any of the members on our Facebook page. Just make a comment there. We will get with you. Or you can call my office at First United Methodist Church, 653-3330.
It's a fun few days. What is 4 concerts?
4 days, yep.
4 concerts, fun afternoon, knowing that as much as you're laughing and enjoying the music, the money is going for scholarships and to help local people here. Terrific job. We always look forward to that. You guys just do a great job. Dan Kemp, the director of the Lancaster Men's Chorus. Break a leg out there. Well, I won't tell Becky Clark that, maybe not. But you guys do a great job. You're a real asset to the community. We're glad you're here.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Thank you. Lancaster Men's Chorus and Days of Blunder. It's all downhill from here. Thanks for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.